Hey guys, and welcome to number 10 of the Derby career mode, and I thought I'd just get this series nice and advanced up to that January transfer window. So what we're going to do is just get it all the way up to that Huddersfield game just before the January transfer window, going through a massive amount of games, about 8 in total, which is about 3 times more than what we've been doing at the moment. So plenty of games for you guys to see, and it'll be interesting to see where we are finishing just before the January transfer window. So obviously our first game is against Huddersfield, Butterfield against his former club. It will be a quite interesting game. Obviously, there are a few players that just aren't playing that well at the moment. Hughes isn't actually doing that well. Johnny Russell did really well in the last episode, but we head into the game here. Naki Wells with the shot. Scott Carson kind of got a hand to it, but Ishmael Mala putting it into the open net, the former Forest player, to make it 1-0 in the game. Then we go into the 67th minute of the match here. Colin Sanak with a wonderful ball into the box. Darren Bent with a beautiful heading into the bottom corner. Makes it 1-1. He's the best impact sub ever. You bring him off the bench and he'll get you a goal. It's as simple as that. He's just one of those guys that does the job every single time. I know he's like 31, but he'll still do it for at least another 2 seasons and may even get us like 10 to 15 goals in the Premier League, which will be really important to us staying in the league. So, final few moments of the game here. I kind of got annoyed when the player was just like holding the ball up in the corner. I don't know why on a game they're time wasting. That's it's so frustrating. And unfortunately, we do get Jason Shackle, the captain, sent off. But it's only a 1-match ban. I'm not too sure why it's not a 3-match ban, because it was a straight red. Yeah, literally, they crossed the ball in from that free kick, and then they blew for full time. So I was really frustrated with that. But we have got a scout report back now from Germany, and we've got some interesting players here, mainly defensive ones. I feel that's what we need to improve in the near future, because going forwards, we've got Bennett, we've got Ince, and we've got like one more player coming in Damari Gray. Obviously, he'll be eventually a first-team player. But the annoying thing is about this fixture is the number of players I didn't have as an option because of the international break, and then EA just going, you know what, the Championship normally play when the international break is going on, but they don't, because a lot of their players are in the international team, and that's what we've had to do for this game against Fulham. So in the 6th minute of the match here, Ben Pringle, the former Derby County player, puts a beautiful ball into the box. I think that's Ross McCormack. Oh no, it's Corley Woodrow, the young under-21 player for England. Then we go into the 74th minute of the match here. Kakalanic, really difficult to say his name, gets the ball into the back post. A wonderful cross, to be fairly honest, and it's a player I might even looking to get in the near future. And he does put it into the back of the net there to make it 2-0. And that's how the game does end. We didn't really have that many options off the bench due to the international break, where loads and loads of players were out there, and I think Fulham are actually in the top 6, so that was actually a quite big game. But our next one is against Charlton, another tough team. They've got some interesting signings. We're going to try Wyman in behind the striker, just for a bit more pace. Bent up front as well as, I don't know, I feel we need a bit of a change after that loss. We just don't want to be playing the same team and hoping that we can get a different result, because you do need to make changes. And I think I will put Mason Bennett in the game in the near future. I really want to get him up to that like 70 rated by the time we get to the Prem. But we go into the game here. Andy Vyman with a really nice dribble into the box. Keeper makes a save. But again, Darren Bent in the 51st minute puts it into the back of the net. He's a wonderful player. Obviously, starting, he doesn't do as well. I feel starting with Martin and bringing Bent off the bench, that's so effective. It's just such a easy way to do things. Beautiful attacking positioning to get there at the right time, to put it into the back of the net to get us a good early start. Then we go into the 56th minute of the match here, about 5 minutes later, and Musa with an absolute rocket of a volley puts it into the back of the net. It was in a bit of a shame as well, because we did actually block the shot. I think it was with Kolasinac there, and then it just goes and falls out to the edge of the box. And Musa, I think he's about 30 years old now. He is a bit of a French international. I think he may have played a few times. Beautiful volley into the back of the net. Not much I could really do about that, and unfortunately, that is how the game does end. It was a bit of a better performance than the Fulham game, where we lost 2-0, but at home we probably should have won that game. We had a lot more shots and probably shouldn't have put them away. But our next game is against Rotherham. They are a team that are probably a relegation battle style team, so we definitely need to get a positive result in this game. Unfortunately, Jason Shackle has dropped down to a 74 rated centre-back, so that kind of does show those older players, they do eventually deteriorate. And for this game, I feel we need a bit more youth and a bit more talent in the team, and that's why I've put Jamie Hansen on the bench. Just that young spark sometimes just makes the difference in games. So we go into the game here in the 10th minute of the match. I don't know why I did that. I pressed back and then it changed to the goalkeeper. But Chris Maguire, the former Derby County player, gets the ball into the near post. Matt Derbyshire, Derbyshire scores against Derby to make it 1-0. Not the best of starts there in the first 10 minutes. But then we go into the 23rd minute of the match here. Chris Martin with the ball. Beautiful ball out wide to Johnny Russell. Eventually cuts inside left-footed strike into the back of the net. A fantastic player Johnny Russell is. His potential is only like 73, but he's so good. It's really frustrating. Like, I feel he could be pushing on for those like 77, 78s. That's the kind of player that Johnny Russell is if he is in good form. So we eventually head into the second half of the game against Rotherham. They were actually a really tough opponent, but out wide they seem to be quite weak. And Damari Gray off the bench, nice bit of pace, puts the ball into the near post with a nice in-swinging cross. Chrissy Martin banging it into the back of the net to make it 2-1. He did actually score his first goal for Scotland last night, so that was really nice to see. So that is how the game does end. 3 points that we desperately needed, because at the moment just draw in, lose in, draw in, lose. It's just not going too well. Next game is at home against Blackburn. Now, Blackburn, I believe they are in 9th, maybe even top 6 now, but Darren Bent has actually grown to a 75, so that's actually really nice to see at the age of 31. He's gone from a 73 to a 75, so his goal per minute ratio in this career mode must be something crazy. It must be every like 10, I want to say like every 10 to 15 minutes he gets a goal, something mental like that. But anyway, we're eventually going to go into the game. A little bit of low fitness due to this game being in a midweek, but hopefully we can still get a positive result. And it was a really tough game. It was in the rain, but a ball into Chrissy Martin here, hits the shot, deflects off the centre-back, a little bit unlucky from Blackburn, but it was the little bit of luck that we needed in this game, because in the rain it's just so difficult to actually get through, get a goal, and especially when this team isn't the most paciest in the world. You got Damari Gray and then Sesu Wankambo, but apart from that, there's no real player over 85 pace in this team, so it kind of shows that we probably need to get some pace if we are going to go into the Premier League with a successful relegation battle. So into the 84th minute of the match here, Andy Weimann getting through. He's one of the pacier players in this team. He's only got about 84, 85 pace, which is okay, and it's a beautiful strike into the top left-hand corner. He hasn't done that well in this career mode, and I felt he would have done a lot better, especially when you look at his stats. He's had 3-star skills this year as well, but he just hasn't performed that well, which is kind of frustrating. Obviously, we did sign Damari Gray. Maybe if we didn't sign him, he'd have a bit more game time, but I feel Damari Gray is that kind of player. For £1 million, you really can't decline that. That's a really bargain buy, and probably will grow to about an 80. So going into the final few moments of this game here, we do lose the ball from poor passing, Delafonso getting into the back of the net, and it was really lucky that we got that second goal, because we didn't deserve to lose this game. We eventually did get the win. It was just a poor ball, I think, from Damari Gray. I was just saying how for £1 million you really can't decline it, but then he just gives away the ball so sillily, and yeah, it was quite a tight game. Both teams had very good chances, but we seemed to put ours away a lot more effectively. So we are currently top of the table, but Reading have got a game in hand, so they probably will go above us. They have a really nice team on career mode, to be fairly honest, Reading. But our next game is against Thomas Ince's former team, who is a 75 rated player now. Hull City, he didn't really have the best of time there. He just didn't have the game time. Sometimes they played him at like right wing back or something crazy like that. But anyway, eventually we do go into the game. I think we do put Butterfield onto the bench. I really do like Butterfield. He's a really nice player, passing ability and stuff like that. But this goal here, what a crazy volley from that Hull player. I think it was Klukas, the not too sure what nation he's from. I'm going to say Hungary, but I could be wrong. But that was a really top draw volley. Ball out wide, eventually crossed into the box. Was that El Mohammadi with the ball? But that first time volley, that's such a difficult thing to do, and somehow he's pulled it off. Keeper's not saved it, and yeah, that was on the stroke of half time. 5 minutes later into the second half, Chrissy Martin out wide eventually gets the ball into the back post where Thomas Ince is with his own first time volley into the top left hand corner. A really good game for good goals, and wonderful strike from Thomas Ince against his former club. Obviously not showing too much remorse, like normally when you score against your former team, you just put your hands up and go, I don't want to celebrate. But yeah, I just thought, why not? They didn't really treat him that well, and he's just had a really nice opportunity at Derby, and it was a really nice goal, to be fairly honest. That's probably one of the best goals we've scored so far in this career mode, in my opinion. So we do end off the game 1-1, which is not bad against Hull, let's be honest. It's away from home at the KC Stadium. One of the better teams in the Championship, probably a top 5 team. We do actually have a scout report back from Germany now. I'm really liking this scout report thing, because this year it's a little bit more different, because the player faces are a bit more realistic. Last year they weren't quite that good, but I don't know, scouted players, they're quite important. Like, there's some players that have come through in Derby in the last few years, Jamie Hansen to name a few, that have been really important. So if we can get a similar kind of player that obviously isn't real, but that kind of player, that'd be really nice for this career. So our next game against Preston North End, we're going to rest up some of our bigger players. We're going to try Forsyth, Drommel. I think I do eventually put Damari Gray into the team, and Mason Bennett on the bench. Maybe he can get some good game time in this game and hopefully get a goal. That would be quite nice for him. But anyway, we do get into the game here in the 41st minute. Damari Gray cutting inside really nicely. Good amount of pace. Keeper makes a save. And then, I don't know what happened there. Like, the centre-back passed it to the other centre-back, and then he thought, do you know what? I'm going to save Chris Martin a job, and I'm just going to put in the back of the net for him. So, that's our first goal. Not exactly the most convincing thing in the world. But in the 49th minute of the match here, Johnson, I think it is. I was wondering at the time, is that an own goal? But it's not. It's there. Johnson. I think it's Damian Johnson with the dreadlocks, obviously. Gets the goal for him. 1-1. Not exactly the thing you want to do against Preston. They're a very good attacking team. Defensively, a little bit shaky. Very similar to Derby, but like a League One standard kind of thing. But anyway, it was nice passing play, to be fairly honest. And then eventually puts it into the top left-hand corner. Not much Drommel can do about it. It would have been nice if he could keep the clean sheet. But yeah, we go into the 59th minute of the match here. Tom Ince not quite getting the cross he wants. And then again, George Thorne gets the ball into the box, and then the centre-half heads it into the back of his own net to make it 2-1 and to give us another lifeline. And I think I do make some changes here, bringing on the likes of Mason Bennett and a few other players that haven't really had that much game time. But we go into the 81st minute of the match here, losing the ball again. I think it was Will Hughes high up the pitch, and then a ball over the top, very simple play, and then Ben Wright somehow gets that into the top left-hand corner to make it 2-2 in the game. And I think that's how it ends, and that's just absolutely dreadful against Preston North End. Let's be honest, we shouldn't be drawing against a team like that. We should be winning every day of the week, but I rested up Darren Bent, and that's what happens. You just lose the game. So, next game against Fulham, obviously Darren Bent's former team, we are going to get him involved, and hopefully he can get us some goals to get a positive result, because we did actually lose 2-0 against Fulham early on in this episode. I know that's how long it's been this episode. It's kind of crazy how much we've got in this episode, and it's really beneficial because the future episodes, they're going to be really good because obviously it's the January transfer window. But not the best of starts. I'm not too sure why Carson tries to punch that ball and then just missed it completely. Went back across, and I think that's Ross McCormack with the goal to make it 1-0 in the first 25 minutes. Not the best of starts away from home. Giving the away team an early goal, it never works well, and I don't know, why did Carson try to go for that? If he just stayed in the middle, waited for Ross McCormack to take the shot, he would have just saved it, and would have still been 0-0. But a beautiful ball there from Will Hughes, gets it through to Johnny Russell, who lays it off for George Thorne to make it 1-1. A wonderful, wonderful goal, and unfortunately, that is how the game does end. It's a 1-1 against Fulham, but it's a better result than what we were earlier on in the episode. A little bit of beautiful play there from Will Hughes, and then Johnny Russell just laying it off for George Thorne. Not too sure why Hughes is the deep one, and then Thorne's the one in the 6-yard box. But anyway, wonderful strike for him. Nice to see him get a goal. Hopefully he can push on to the 74, 75 rating by the end of the season, because then when we get in the Prem, we can actually use him, because in past career modes, he's just been too low rated and not good enough. So that is how the game does end, obviously, a 1-1 against Fulham. It's a better result than the 2-0 that we did get earlier on in the episode. Obviously, it was at home, so maybe we should have won as well, but it's just not been the best of episodes for results. But in terms of how many we've played a lot, and we're still top 2, so it's perfectly fine at the moment. There's no worry. There's plenty of time to get in that top position. We're only 4 points behind Reading, which it seems like a lot. That's 2 games they have to lose, and we have to pick up 6 points. But it's doable. There's been crazier title contended charges. But anyway, we're going to simulate this training session, seeing Drommel grow to a 70 rated goalkeeper, which makes me think, do we start with Drommel for the next episode? We'll have to see. But anyway, if we could smash over 30 likes, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, and see you soon. Bye.